back and doing another marathon thing already, I guess. I did one like a week ago. So I wasn't really supposed to be doing this right now, but I guess I am. Just pop out the chat real quick. So that you see it. So you're gonna want to give. You want me to give you a countdown, Phoenix? I guess I might as well just do it out here. It's easier. Okay, cool. Let's get started then. So this is Spyro 3. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with it. Naturally, being Spyrothon. It's kind of funny, actually. Normally, like if I've done a marathon run for this game, I'll have to explain the FPS crashing stuff, but last time I did this, like a week ago, I didn't actually get the crash there on the opening cutscene, which is very weird, because normally it happens, I'd say a good like 95% of the time, honestly. For some reason it's far more common than any other one to do it on. Even on a good model, PS2. So you're gonna have to excuse the rusty play. The only Spyro I've really played this week has been Reignited, and that controls differently. I was supposed to do a little bit of practice before I started, but I had to get on early, so I didn't really get time to do that. So yeah, this is going to be 117 category. Most people don't usually care to play too often. It's fair enough. It's pretty long for a speedrun, especially compared to anything else in Spyro. It's got some least favorable aspects as well, so you combine those things together and largely unoptimized and relatively unplayed category. That's when you compare it to everything else. But while I used to be of the same opinion of that, once I started playing it more and got better at it, and that changed. And now I quite enjoy playing it, so I prefer this over Underdega actually. Maybe not better than Spyro 200%, but I definitely do think this is a nice category to play. Just yeah, I'd imagine for anyone trying to take it seriously, free time is a bit of an issue. So this is going well. I'm actually really bad at doing this backup for some reason. You'd think it'd be easy, you just have to spin jump up there, which is actually the harder part, and then just jump into the loading zone, but there you go. So naturally that's not really part of the intended playthrough of the game, right? Let's get into things early. So the area portals bleed higher or lower, I guess, but generally the way we access them is by hitting like a higher part of the loading zone that's exposed through just I don't know. Helm Somnia made it not very well, I guess. So yeah, it's going to be quite a common theme. It's going to be able to hit area portals because they extend out. They'll let us skip basically every single backtrack in the game, which is very convenient. This backtracking is slow and boring. And And yeah, there's going to be 4 side characters. This is the first one. Unfortunately, it's like 2 of them are pretty boring. This is one of the 2 boring ones. Although this is definitely more engaging than Bentley at least, but yeah, compared to Bert and absolutely Agent 9, this is definitely not the cream of the crop as far as movement tech goes. But Sheila does have some, as well as a Bentley who has pretty much nothing unique. The only thing he can do is like spin jump, but spin jumping is a thing everyone in the game can do. So yeah, just in and out of there pretty quickly. The only thing to, I guess, I should have explained while I was in there, is that if you kick midair, you'll instantly cut off all your vertical momentum. And if you kick at the right time, that'll just allow you to start platforming quicker, which is basically the main movement tech there, I guess. It is a tiny bit challenging to get it perfectly, but it's nothing too hard. Oh yeah, Sparks is the thing, I guess. Well, he can't really jump in general, so that discounts him.
Thank you for it. I'm sorry. Hi, Spyro. I bet you can't catch all 15 of the lizards running around here. Just come back.
My favorite reason to play this game, naturally. It's probably one of the least enjoyable mini-games in the whole game, and it's in your very first reset level, so it's a very great barrier for anyone who actually wants to even attempt carrying this game. You have to go through this gauntlet of just stupid stuff. Which I believe is actually the reason why JT doesn't, or hasn't even tried to play this game. He just gets to this point, he gives up. Which I find kind of amusing, honestly. I can't really blame him. Although, now that I've played Reignited, I actually kind of like this. It's like you compare 2 bad things together, and one of them is worse than the other. You know, this one starts to look a little better. Definitely takes this stuff a reignited skateboarding anyway, so. In all honesty though, it's not that bad. The lizards are pretty much purely reactionary. You know, however you approach them is how they'll move.
Hey!
It's just sometimes very, very minor bits of movement can make them run in a completely different direction. And, you know, I haven't even learned like every single possible scenario that they can screw you over. But if you get used to most of them, it's pretty... it's not that bad. You reduce the amount of time they can waste to you. That was a nice light flame there. If anyone who doesn't spend a billion years playing this game can understand why no one would want to mess with skateboarding. The annoying thing too is it's pretty much the gatekeeper to any good segment. You can do the platforming really well for like the first 4 minutes of the level. Any small mistake here can, you know, lose up to like 5 seconds or something. It's because of the lizard's move. So sometimes it can be pretty hard to close out a good segment here. Ragdoll physics and skateboarding. That would actually be pretty fun, yeah. Which they could probably do, right? Because, I mean, you see stuff like in just breaking normal baskets and chests in those games, and I think they have physics like that for the clutter that breaks from it. I think that would definitely be a huge step up. Yeah, reignited skateboarding is very something. It's actually kind of hard to just fall off. The wall just sends you in a completely different direction if you smack into it like 90% of the time. Also, the skateboarding in Lost Fleet, that was fun for me as well. I remember getting bounced off a Rhinoc, and he sent me instantly 90 degrees into a wall, which I then bounced off, which I then bounced into the ramp, and then the skateboard broke. It's a completely fun time, really. I think I took like 8, 9 attempts to beat the Lost Fleet race. When I actually got a little more used to the skateboard though, I think I only took like 2 tries to beat Hunter. I guess I'm like completely zoning out sometimes of a commentary mode. It's fun because I'm not really supposed to be playing right now, but I guess back in my mind, I kind of assume everyone knows most of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about anyway. Yeah, that jump into this challenge, yeah, definitely not intended. Called a momentum conservation jump. I should try really hard there not to say conversation. Yeah, basically charge up, come to a stop, or stop charging really, and then jump out of it. And you get pushed forward while in the air, but you can still maintain your really high jump. And then you just glide over to the level. Although you can't just straight up hover onto it, you have to kind of hover, you have to glide to the side first, and then try to hover onto it. By doing that, you extend how high you can hover, because unlike SRT, how high you can hover is directly tied into how long you were gliding for. Which leads it to be slightly more balanced, although you can still abuse it by, well, obviously doing that skip. But it's definitely not completely broken like it is in SRT. You can just glide for half a second and get a full height hover.
Do you want this, dude?
I don't even know if there is a waterfall on for 117, unless you just mean just straight up the TAS route. Alright, that's another not intended thing. For whatever reason, and it is cool, but you carry your momentum through side area loading. And in that particular case, the game is normally supposed to ignore all your inputs until you hit the floor. But if you jump before you leave the side area, you basically remove it. For whatever reason. I think if you are going up, maybe the trigger just completely ends. Either way, that lets us just go straight up to that upper platform, which normally is supposed to take from a whirlwind. There's one out there somewhere. Right there. And that is only accessible, like it only spawns you've collected the end of level egg. So that was a really old skip, I think that skip has been around for like 6 years now, maybe. Although, these days it's not even, it's not necessary anymore. Although it is the easier and same speed option as the alternative. You can proxy off the big Rhinoc guys there, and yeah, conveniently enough there's one that takes you straight to that egg if you happen to fall down for whatever reason. It's actually pretty easy, I would say. Much easier than the 80% one from the guy that sits right at the bottom of the level at the start. Probably because of the placement. He's on a lower level to you, and maybe he's like the perfect distance away, I think, for a free setup. Like you just stand at the very edge and do a charge jump, glide into him. Just works, just like that. And I think the earbuds are very similar to our ball proxy actually, so definitely pretty easy backup. However, this trick apparently is not so easy. Probably the most frustrating trick I've had to learn, but given that I only played Spyro 3 and you never really had a reason to know how super fly jumping worked, it probably exacerbated it. I also never asked for help, which is pretty dumb. Yeah, that is a super fly jump into an out of bounds swim in air. I think super fly jumping is a leftover mechanic from Spyro 2's double jump, where if you hold X and square and aim up as you're in the super fly, you can just use it to do a really high jump like that. By doing it in that one spot, you can get out of bounds with it and go into a swim in air. And since swim triggers in this game are once you touch the water, charge into it, you are now swimming. There's no actual physical water around the level apart from that one trigger plane. And you can just use it to swim anywhere you please. Which is not actually a thing in SRT. Because in SRT, the water is just a box, and it only extends up or down where the water is. Actually, not really up in most cases, but definitely down. So as soon as you leave that box in SRT, you know, you'll fall out and die. And then all of that led into getting into a level early, which just so happens to be Sheila again. So every single level that is supposed to be locked, either through a moneybags requirement or an egg requirement, is all for those are stored directly underneath the level where they would be, except under the ground. Since getting out of bounds in these games is fairly common, not too hard, that is the strategy. It's really useful for these levels in particular, side area ones, because every time you paid a free side area character, you would get a cutscene. So you're going to be skipping all 4 of those. I gotta say, I really miss the kicking mechanic, like how kicks work in this game, as opposed to SRT. SRT is kind of good, but mostly bad, because in SRT, your kick comes out like instantly. Like, I want to say like the moment you press it, you know, it's already come out and done its max range. The problem is just that its max range is really bad. Like, it has no range at all, and unlike Sheila, where her kick, you know, will follow her movement. Kick like that, you're kicking the kick hitboxes, you know, extending forward, like hitting everything you're running into. But yeah, in SRT, the range is so limited. You have to be like point blank before you kick anything. I thought that was really frustrating. So it's nice to actually come back to the original. The kick is more useful. Didn't mean to fall down there, but whatever. Oh, another thing SRT did is jumps like that there. You can't do them with the double jump. You have to do a high jump. I guess that's an example like NST where they just copied the layout, but didn't account for the different movement. Fortunately, it's not really a big deal compared to some NST things, but it's still a thing to notice, I guess. I use circle like a normal person. squares for charging. Sorry, that's the incorrect opinion. Oh, I could have sworn there was another gem there. I guess not. So apparently this is 117 commentary, but half the time I'm going to be making comparisons to SRT, I guess. Another thing SRT does, which is cool in some ways, but bad in others. I think a lot of the base mechanics were made around Spyro 1 stuff. And the biggest offender being you have Spyro 1 and Sparks, which are... you can't actually grab gems out of the air for you in 2 and 3. Which is another sorely missed feature. I'm glad to have back playing the originals again.
Here, take.
There we go, there's another side area skip. Exact same functionality as the Sunnyville one. Just enter it from above because the side area bleeds out above. Very conveniently an easy to skip too because there happens to be posts there on the bridge. Gives you the perfect amount of height to just straight up jump into there. It's also another ancient skip. That one's probably been around for who knows how long, probably over 10 years. Although with the advent of proxies, it's also another one like Cloud, where it's not absolutely necessary to have that trick anymore.
I'm playing.
Because if it didn't exist, we could simply bore proxy outbound into it now. Which is nice to know, I guess, but... oops. Yeah, sometimes that bird there is on a bad cycle. Like, I can't really afford to turn around and look at him because I want to keep my speed. Because I guess I should say the movement tech. The movement tech here is you hold L1 and R1 and you just move faster. However, that disables the ability to turn around. And so if I want to keep my max speed there, I have to just go into it blindly. And if he just happens to be right there, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. It'll knock the thing out of my hands. My feet, rather.
Take this.
If you have good movement, though, like you don't really make any mistakes, and you won't be there. Which I guess is what I've been blindly trusting, but since I did make some mistakes, then I don't know where he was going to be.
Spyro!
This is normally not a spot where you're supposed to pay money bags, but since I failed the brawl proxy at the start of the level, I didn't really get a choice. Normally the only two places you are supposed to pay him is Icy Peak and Charmed Ridge. And
Hey, there goes.
I think this is the only optional one where you do it as a backup. I don't think there are any others. Yeah, those are egg thieves. The thieves. They have eggs, very self-explanatory by the name. And unfortunately, they're actually really easy to cut off and kill earlier than you're supposed to. This is a good change SRT did though. One of the things they copied from Spyro 1, if you supercharge and you break a basket or vase or whatever, the gem will actually home in. in these games, while it was a feature in 1, they removed it for 2 and 3. And so now if you want to break stuff with superchargers, containers, you have to do another visit around. So I seem to be missing one gem. I think I know which one it would be though. It's usually the one right around this corner. Well, okay. It was around the corner, but it wasn't that one. It's supposed to be the one to the right there. But whatever. I should have just claimed that I knew what I was talking about anyway. That was the starter jump. If you try to optimize your jump too much by leaving it as late as possible, that can happen. It's pretty much just straight up cuts the jump height in half, and yeah, makes your life not fun. I think it's supposed to be a band-aid fix to skips, but Insomniac aren't exactly known for, you know, knowing how well their movement, well, knowing what their movement is capable of, really. You can still do a lot of skips just with this jump, even though they implemented that fix and there's no double jump. There's still a lot of broken jumps that are possible. So yeah, they weren't exactly the best players of their own game, I guess. So here we go, first Speedway. Something most people don't like. Something I just tune out myself though, I don't really think about it too much. This one in particular is fun. Mostly because of all the supercharging optimizations you can do. Whereas, while they do exist in the other 3, they're just not as prevalent, they don't save as much time. This one feels rewarding because it's the hardest and probably saves the most time because gradually as you go through the speedways, your flight speed will increase. And so the usefulness of supercharge goes down. Yeah, so for anyone actually paying attention, I guess, you'll notice the ring hitboxes are very misleading in a good way. They extend much further outward than they visually appear to be, which lets you do some seemingly scary movement, because it looks like you're gonna miss the ring, but you actually don't. So it's time for another SRT comparison. The race here in SRT is actually kind of hard, I think. The only way I managed to beat it was by getting every single star boost power up. You couldn't really do any supercharge optimizations there because it's not really that useful. Yeah. If I missed a single star, I don't think I would manage to get first a single time at any point in the race. And yeah, you pretty much barely win the race if you get every star, whereas in the originals, as you saw, you managed to take first place, like before the first lap was even over. So while it's cool to have it more difficult, I guess, it would be nice if supercharge was useful too. So if you want to expend the extra effort to go faster, you could. This is with FDS, yeah. I don't play Spyro 3 without FDS anymore. I think I have like a year now, or something like that. Maybe even 2, I don't know. When did FDS start getting popular for this game? I really can't remember.
Whoa! Look at
This will be a trend for speedways. Mushroom pretty much has anything interesting in speedways. And it's the only interesting. Okay, well that's not really true. Honey Speedway has an interesting time trial route, but Mushroom definitely wins on the front of racing and hunter challenges. That one's pretty skill based. and is also the only one that isn't an auto-scroller. And when you get to the other three, they're all going to be auto-scrollers, and there's not really much you can do about it. So I just realized my game may have been a bit loud. Normally when I use mic I turn it down, otherwise it's kind of overpowering on me, so I turned it down there. If the audio levels are a problem, I guess let me know, I can change them. Those enemy that comes out of the shells are very strange. For whatever reason, once you break the shell, you can't actually do anything to them for like a second and a half, which is useful for proxying off them, but in 1.17, where most of the time you just want to get their gem, although there is a proxy coming up in the next room, it's a little bit annoying. You just have to sit there and wait for the hitbox to spawn, I guess, so you can actually kill them. Yeah, this will be the only proxy you do here, 117. Cool. It's not actually that hard. You get a nice little setup without having to actually do a setup, if you know what I mean. Just because the movement going up to it is fast, but at the same time lets you just go into doing it pretty easily. And yeah, that's the spin jump. I don't think I've done any of those yet. Spin jumps basically just start facing away from a higher surface and then jump and turn into it, and that'll give you more height. Which doesn't seem like much, and it really isn't that much, but since Insomniac were adamant on making things just barely out of your reach, that's the joke on them, because now you can jump higher and break their teasing properties of things under reach, I guess. Not really sure how to word that better. Here's the pretty much one of two things that is likely to crash the game. But I'll slow down for those two things. Although this one in general doesn't really crash that much anymore. Especially if you're doing 117 where you get all the gems. So the theory is that there's too much stuff on screen as you break that, which leads to a crash. But by doing the cannons in that specific order and having the gems collected, the chance of it crashing is pretty low these days. I get the feeling that I missed 5 gem in Sheila. I think my gem count leaving is supposed to be 67. And I missed a 5 gem in the one of my practice runs, I want to say like maybe a week ago. So at the end of the level, if I am actually missing something, I'll go and check Sheila first. Oh yeah, picking up gems through the wall. I think you just charge. And when you, I guess Sparks is a little different underwater. It doesn't function exactly the same. I think his grab range extends forward. So, which leads to things like that being possible, being able to grab gems through the wall, and you'll see near the end of the level, he'll actually struggle to pick up some gems that are right in front of him. Which leads to some kind of weird ways of working around that, and that you need to like stop and start, I guess, sometimes. It sounds weird for optimal movement, but there's nothing you really do about it. Otherwise, he just struggles to pick up some stuff. Here's a cool boss. You abuse momentum here to continue firing at him even when you're turning the opposite way. And there you go. It's a very easy, quick kill. Oops, that didn't actually come in. I think. Maybe it fell in the water, yeah. So coming out of water, normally I try to do a glide to cancel the charge that I'm doing. And that'll also set me up to just charge straight away. So I glide out of there to cut the charge jump out of the water and instantly use it to do a glide. But in that case, I did the glide in the same frame that I was killing him, which means the gem didn't home in, and it just popped up straight into the air. Sorry, I was a little confused. I did my movement there a bit wrong. So yeah, this tunnel after the cutscene here is the one spot in this level where Sparks has trouble. You'll see me manually path over the gems because I don't trust Sparks to get them. Yeah, he got one of them that time, but normally it's a little bit worse. See, I am actually missing a 5 gem. I have a pretty good idea of where it is. So I hit straight over to Sheila. Yeah, it's a really good skill point. Just kill fodder. Not sure why that's skillful, but according to the game, it is. Oh, okay. Guess it is isn't in there. The next likely spot is just around this corner. Or it could be that. I've never actually missed that one before. Oh yeah, I remember now, yeah. I missed that vase when I was trying to do the movement for the proxy. And I knew I missed it, but I guess I forgot to go back for it. So something just auto-played in my ears and it's really loud. I imagine you guys might be able to hear that. No idea what that was. Yet second case of a FDS crash. Apparently did it too early the first time. Yeah, so I'm getting crashes, well, at least so far, in every spot that you can. And at the same time getting long load screens. I have a feeling it's a product of because normally you can load faster than that. So there must be like a physical reason why that happens. My idea is that sometimes if your room is too hot, it may affect the loading time. So I'm going to turn my fan on actually. Hopefully there won't be too much of an annoying background noise. If it is, I can turn it off again and go open a window or something. Nice, died in the last hit. This is a pretty good run so far. Yeah. This game, I wasn't really expecting much. Nothing else to practice beforehand. Oh yeah, I guess I should explain Buzz now that I've died. So he's supposed to chase you around the arena and be very annoying, take a lot of time, but if you stand at the very edge he won't actually spin. Well, he will spin for like a second, but he'll cancel it shortly after. There's definitely no long chase around the arena. The second part of what I'm doing there is that the flame wall comes up normally after the second attack, and for every subsequent attack after that. But you cancel that out by just being able to turn the camera and face away from him. I guess that's a motto of the games, really. At least Spyro 2 and 3. Is that if something is not happening on camera, it generally just isn't happening, really. And no exception there. By just facing the camera away as you attack him, you will not spawn his firewall. It's very convenient. So I think that's a skip. Maybe. Not actually sure.
Looks like you're ready.
But what that lets you do by just holding R1 into the wall and tapping L1. I guess it works both ways. Hold L1, tap R1. But yeah, if you do that, it's plant walls. Not every wall, but that one in particular you can. I think there's gonna be like 4 more throughout the run. Maybe 5, I can't remember exactly. I think it's 4 though. And yeah, they're gonna be pretty useful. That one is the most useful. Yes, English. Let's just skip the entire tutorial part, which fortunately doesn't have any gems in it, otherwise you would have to go and do it. And yeah, apart from that, it's pretty straightforward. Not really much to talk about. It's a cool little old-fashioned arcade style minigame, I guess. Top-down view, just shooting stuff. I think it's pretty fun, honestly. Although, this is one of the things I think, maybe even the best thing SRT improved on. This is really, I would say, really fun in the remakes. It's even more fast-paced. You thought this was already going kind of fast. Yeah, you might enjoy the remake one, because it goes a lot faster. Also, the bosses die from the power-up spam much quicker as well. I think that's one of the few things that I unconditionally prefer from the remaster. But this isn't too bad stuff though. Yeah, that is the power-up abuse on the boss. Very broken. Lets you kill him very fast.
Nice work.
No, I'm not Zeus, but there really isn't any crash points in this game that you don't expect. Any sort of rare crash is, you know, rare. So I don't really bother about it. I'll just go very slow in the known spots.
Okay, Dread.
At the end of the day, I do have save states on MU for every single level. So if I absolutely have to, I would do that. But I just don't see it happening. And yeah, that was a very good boss fight. This is 100 egg movement again. I've been playing 100 egg more than I've been playing 117 lately, so usually when I get up to this point in the run, I do 100 egg movement. Which is... I'm not really sure how bad it is, honestly. I'm not sure how much slower it is. Because you're still, you know, going fast, collecting the egg and stuff. It's just out of order. I think the worst thing that comes out of it really is that you just have your splits messed up. Country Speedway split will be pretty inaccurate. So yeah, that was Bridge Swim. It's kind of weird, but if you jump into that spot normally, you can just jump through the bridge there. So naturally, in the same vein, if you time your swim just right, you can swim through it as well. It does look a little weird. You'd think there'd be a bigger explanation for it, but it's not really. It's swimming through the bridge, and then using the swim in air to get into bird early, which is exactly the same as Sheila.
So,
Yeah, this is bird's proper level, not a side area.
sir, the fine.
Which means you actually get to make use of his movement tech a little bit more. I think this level is pretty... It's another one of those levels that's like notorious for miss gems in, but there really are only a few problem gems in this level, and if you learn all the spots they can fall in, I would say it's pretty easy to avoid a miss gem here. Although if you're just, you know, if you're kind of autopiloting and not really paying attention to some spots, it can happen to you. Yeah, I'd say for me, missing gems here has vastly gone down over the years as I started paying more attention. And it's this guy here. This is the biggest offender. This green guy right in front of me. Or green gem guy, rather. The gem that fell down there can fall down in 4 different places. And there are a lot of cliffs in this section. So naturally, you can fall on 4 separate cliffs. If you're not paying attention, then that is, I'd say 90% of the time, at least for me, the gem I miss. So it already failed the first dice roll. So it can fall down straight in front of you right there. You can just get it and not have to worry about it, but yeah, in that case it didn't. So now it'll be one of 3 different spots. More likely, like the most likely one is it falls straight on the ground, which is the least troubling one. You can kind of see that it's like clipping through the basket. But yeah, there are a bunch of cliffs up there and it can fall down on any one of them. And if you're not paying attention, that is basically the trouble gem of all gems in the game, really. I don't think anything comes close to being as likely to be missed. I'm gonna look back there actually, I think I might have missed a gem. I did, yeah. It's supposed to glide up a little bit. Glide. Float up a little bit to get that gem before I move and get all the rest of them. Maybe it's just that one time I forgot. So yeah, I leave a couple gems on the way back, yeah, just because there's a mandatory backtrack with the bombs. So you don't actually need to grab every single gem. Just come back and get some on the way back.
Before I was kept.
So yeah, I didn't notice anything missed, so it should be fine. Yep, all 500. Yeah, it's the hardest thief in the game according to JT. As you can see, that was very hard. I think he when he did on and off 100 runs for the last like 4 years or so, pretty much always sucked at it. No one really knows why. People told him the main setup. I even told him my one. I did that multiple times, but it didn't really sink in until this year. It's a very strange phenomenon. And so yeah, there'll be a theme in this homeworld of auto scrolls. which is everyone's favorite part of the speedrun. Unfortunately for us, 2 of them now have stuff to do in them in the meantime, which technically doesn't speed them up, but definitely makes them more interesting. Well, it speeds up the overall run, but in the sense of the auto-scroller itself, it doesn't save any time. Which is a lie, actually, because I just realized Bamboo does exactly that. It's the one at this level that speeds up the overall time rather than the auto-scroller itself. But yeah, either way, makes it a little bit more bearable to be able to do something in auto-scrollers. Which I actually think might be a good application for an auto-scroller. Like, if it's something like Blind Guys here, where you have an objective, a main objective and an optional objective being collect all the gems, they can actually be a little interesting. Because while technically you are limited in how fast you can go, you also are getting something else in the meantime, which speeds up the overall goal. Makes it kind of fun. Yeah, I used to be the same with that Midday Thief. It hasn't really happened to me since I started doing the bridge swim out. It was more so when I used to play on a PAL, I would have that problem. So I'm gonna grab a photo here because I managed to lose it all. I didn't hit my sleepy yet.
This swamps.
So this is part 1 of Auto-Scroller. As you can see, there are gems lying around pretty much everywhere. And if you don't grab them all within the Auto-Scroller itself, you're gonna have to come back and get them later, which is slow, obviously. So our objective is to grab all of them before it finishes, which is actually not that bad, I would say. It's definitely not one of those things that people are a little worried about, but personally, I don't find this challenge to be bad at all. Consistent, even. As long as, like anything, you practice and grind out the things you're bad at, eventually you stop being bad at them. Yeah, charging any sort of object that you can bounce around in SRT is pretty awful, honestly. I think my worst experience of that was in North Cove. There's that one thing you do TNT trick for. Well, no, TNT trick is the 80% thing. Whatever. It's where you charge into the guy's TNT barrel and use it to break a strong chest early, that thing. So I was doing the intended thing for that in SRT, and yeah, it took like 15 tries, I think, just to get it to go in a straight line and break it. And since those are directly reused and stuff like gulp and whatnot, you know, naturally that also turned out to be kind of bad. I did an extra head bash, by the way, which I really didn't mean to do. And yeah, I had a feeling something like that would happen. So you do kind of need to slow down your movement here a little, just a tiny little bit. I am being extremely dumb right now. You do need to slow down your movement just a tiny little bit. Also, I have to sit here and listen. If I start this challenge again straight away, the rock will actually perfectly land on him again, and you can't do anything. But yeah, so while this guy is a bit more fast-paced than the first one, you're actually too fast for him, which is kind of funny. And yeah, you have to slow down a little bit in this area, but for whatever reason I head bashed something I normally don't, which led to him getting the, well, led to me getting to the actual mushroom I needed to break next. Too late. And yeah, that was bad. Yeah, not the end of the world. I should have had all the gems there. Didn't notice that I missed anything. There's the Thelonious glitch now. Very important. The only thing you need to do to trigger this is just talk to that guy with the camera facing away from him. I know for a while people didn't really understand how he worked. I just thought it was kind of random. But no, if you just face the camera away, that will happen like 99% of the time. That was a good sub jump. I have to back this up now with a flop. Which I don't think flops have been relevant yet either. But flopping is just basically doing a charge jump into something. It doesn't have to be a charge jump, but generally it's going to be a charge jump. And then right as you want to, you know, go over something that normally is too high for you, you just let go of charge. And you'll still keep going forward a tiny little bit, but you won't be charging anymore, so you won't bonk on whatever you're trying to get up to. And it'll make some jumps possible that normally aren't. That's not exactly ideal. I'm starting to really regret not getting any practice in, but oh well, I guess. I'm sure no one's going to be too mad if I go a little bit overestimate. Allegedly, the marathon's been going smooth so far. I had to sleep pretty early into it, so I didn't pull a lot of it. Oh, you're behind? I could have sworn I heard, this is going well. How long is ETD 100% actually? Because I'm just thinking about it now, because I started around like midnight my time, I think. Maybe a bit after that. And supposed to do my run at like 4:30 or something. So I guess I had the impression that ETD would be way ahead of schedule. And I guess by proxy means me as well. Let's see, that's folder proxy. I think that's the one and only squeeze you'll see in the run. Just by getting stuck between two objects, you can get launch time. Is the last of the three proxy types we've seen, I guess. Yes, I think so. I'm pretty sure you've seen the other two. And yeah, this auto-scroller, not so much an auto-scroll anymore, although it kind of is, but at least now you have ways to end it early. So normally you're supposed to come around and do 2 laps of this this thing, kill all the guys. But fortunately for us, every single second lap enemy is stored in the sky, just invisible. And you can hit them all. This guy here that I failed to get the first time is pretty much the only hard one, really. Every single other one, pretty easy. The only reason that guy in particular is hard is because you can't aim higher than I already was there. So there's a very limited window you can actually be able to, you know, reach him within the confines of the And getting him saves an extra 8 seconds, but even if you don't get him, it's still like 10 seconds faster than just not doing any of them. And yeah, that's a random egg just floating in the air. It actually belongs to the thief that spawns in the level after you talk to this guy. But in the meantime, before he is spawned, his egg is just stored there. It's very convenient for us. I actually figure this level has a thief most of the time. It's one of those weird things. Like, how often do you think about the fact that Haruko's has a supercharge? I don't know, probably just doesn't cross your mind very often. It's a little bit of RNG. What comes down the mountain can either be a boulder or a TNT. In that case, the TNT there was bad, but in the next case, the TNT will actually be good because it lets me do a damage boost. It saves like 2 or 3 seconds. But it's not entirely free, so I may fail it even if I do get the TNT. So we got it. You can't actually see the TNT coming down if you get it, but if you get the boulder, you can see it. So, you know, with the power of process of elimination, by not seeing anything, that means you got the TNT. It's kind of nice to know, because otherwise you would just, if you couldn't see either of them, you would just stop there, I guess, in anticipation. If it turns out to be a rock, then you just wasted time. And see, here are mystery jars. They're kind of cool, I guess. They don't break the moment you flame them, but they take multiple hits, and when you flame them, they teleport to a different spot in the level. Which, generally the pattern is they are near the end of the level and force a backtrack, which, for the levels they're in, like this one in Charnbridge and stuff, that'll dictate how you do the route. Like you saw in this one, what we just wanted to do was get Boulder Proxy and take that straight to the end of the level. I'm getting quite a lot of starter jumps today. I get the feeling that, because, I mean, you guys know how SRT jumps work, right? You have to do it optimally, you gotta like, run off the edge intentionally for like half a second, and then you can jump. So I get the feeling I may be trying to do the same thing there, which, in this case, is really bad, because it'll cut my jump height in half. So hopefully that won't continue to be a factor throughout the run, but no promises. Yeah, the TNTs, you can spin those, and the rocks, you have to club them. It's got a lot of chat to catch up on. Oh, you're only behind until ETD. Oh, only ahead until ETD. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I turned my TV up for Bamboo so I could listen to it because I needed to be able to hear the sounds of the auto scroll the guys dying. I can turn it back down now. It's all good. We're turning it back up again for a couple levels, like Spike and Lost Sleep. Spike is just because of the rocks. If they spawn off screen, then you can tell where they spawn based on the audio. Like it'll sound more left or more right. So that helps guide which way you should turn. And in Lost Fleet, it'll be good because I want to hear the cannon clicks. How many cannon clicks I hear will tell me how high my cannon is aimed, and that'll let me do some movement for the birds quickly. So I said before at some point there was only really like one time trial in the speedways that was kind of interesting, which is not entirely true. This level does have a different route, but I don't think anyone has ever really used it in a run before. It's more like an IL thing. It has a really tight playing cycle to catch. But yeah, if that wasn't there, then two of them would be interesting. But until that day, it's just going to be Honey that remains the most interesting one. Also, it's worth noting that you can actually leave speedways earlier than you're supposed to, which, if done correctly, will save you 4 seconds every time. But if you leave on a race egg, as opposed to a hunter egg, which is the whole reason why you do a hunter challenge last, by the way. But yeah, if you do it for a race, you will actually lock yourself out of the race egg. Like you cannot get it anymore, and your file is pretty much ruined. At least in the sense of 100%ing. And yeah, unfortunately, the hunter challenges in speedways are now all going to be auto-scrollers. True auto-scrollers as well. Nothing to do in the meantime. No way to speed it up really, except just hit them as soon as they spawn. In fact, I'm not even sure if killing the enemy spawns even helps for speed. Even the last guy, I think the last guy, I think the challenge ends based on if you have flown far enough. It's kind of nice at the same time though. Like, this is pretty much like a break though mold. You get a lot of downtime to check stuff. Especially in the next level, you have enough time to actually refill your water or whatever you need to do. Plenty of time to do stuff there. Okay, I was trying to get a drink of water as I was doing that movement. So there's an unfortunate 3 bonks in there. So yeah, this bit, I found this bit pretty fun. This level does seem kind of long, and you know it is, but of time you're actually doing stuff, it's not really that bad. It's a 9-minute level, but a whole third of that time is spent doing skateboarding, which is basically auto-scroller. 3 minutes of auto-scroller. But the other 6 minutes, I would say, are pretty fun actually. This is one of my more enjoyable levels to play through. It's a cool thing, yeah. Normally you're supposed to get teleported when the statue breaks, but if you're too far away or your camera's just like not looking at it, it won't actually happen until you look at it again. And so even though I was supposed to get teleported before I had all those gems, by just turning the camera away I could delay it, and then once I had all the gems I just looked back again and controlled the teleport to teleport me back when I wanted to. Sounds kind of cool.
Isn't this the... Let's start with something.
There'll be another instance of this actually in
in
the next challenge.
Do it once. Then it's your turn. Okay, now try. Hey.
Yeah, I think fortunately for us, any sort of bone dance route probably won't be faster than 117, which I'm very grateful for.
Whoa!
But you never know. Maybe something could happen one day.
All right.
Dreamcatcher, I guess Ansem may explain it better. It's just a bone dance strat that involves some pretty hard jumps. And given the fact that bone dance is at a point where like a couple of seconds lost is pretty much run over, if you fail it, you know, the run's pretty much dead. And yeah, it's just hard. So I think it is aptly named because it will kill all your runs, really. I hadn't actually done it myself, so I don't really know how hard it is, but I've seen a video of it and it doesn't look very fun. So yeah, this will be the biggest break in the run. And nice, I actually got a bad gem RNG there, so I can't actually go and grab that. Well, that doesn't matter for the challenge time itself, just means we get less time to take a break. Also, it's kind of weird to praise SRT for something about skateboarding, but they made tricks register a lot better. I didn't really notice my tricks getting dropped in SRT like at all, whereas in this game, I think I've already had like 3 so far. See, if you get hit, at least with the movement that I do, usually I get like 50 seconds to take a break, maybe 45. Because of that 5 gem, I only get like 30. That's time to go change your music or whatever you're doing. Hang on a second.
I can't believe.
I just realized I didn't go out of my way to get any points at all. And I swear, like, as I saw the transition, that I had like 2,000 points or something, but I guess not. Little bit of a mistake there. If I had actually didn't have enough points, would have failed skateboarding, which is pretty epic. Yeah, there's a little cool thing you can do with breakable surfaces. If you hit bash and have to break a surface, like in that case a middle chest, target chest, whatever you want to call it. If you jump right as you break it, you can jump out of it, which lets you do a little bit of faster movement there. It's not broadly useful, but you know, it has its place in some things. Wow. Nice. Okay. Sorry, I got the extended pivot thing there because I timed my square input badly. That's the first time I've ever seen that. It's pretty fun. Well, it's a new one to add to the list of interesting things that can happen. Oh yeah, okay. That guy respawned, but I already had his gem. I forgot. I was kind of wondering why he even respawned. But I guess there you go. But I hadn't got zapped by Zoe after I got the gem. Because normally, such as a side area, like this one, any enemies that you have the gem for won't respawn. So it sounds like a very good picture living in chat, so I'm interested to click on it. There's a cool little thing. Use some weird unoptimal hover there to be able to flame that button early. It's a pretty unique trick, honestly. There's nothing really like it in the series. You need to do like unoptimal movement to be able to flame something. Yeah, here's another thing. If you get too far away there, you won't get teleported until you look away, which isn't really a problem because you still have to wait a certain amount of time anyway. And you can definitely collect those gems before you hit that time limit.
I'm ready to. It's good to be back in action.
So what do you think this means for Wally's run? Because I'm pretty sure you can't do a run with a broken graphics card like that. On Emu at least. And yeah, here's one of the main reasons I like this level, in the speedrun at least. Because these green guys are kind of fun to kill. The gems, the way they died in the gem summon, it's pretty bad, but if you know the way to avoid it trolling you and have consistent movement, then it is not really a big deal. You just get to fly around, it's kind of fun. Although I do seem to be down a 2 gem somewhere, so maybe one didn't home. Oh, there we go. Just homed in right there. I didn't actually mean to miss that guy on the first cycle, which is the only bit of movement I screwed up. Which, funnily enough, led to the exact problem I said I could avoid. Alright, yeah, that's cool. I guess I'll ask if I have to do anything after the run. I can't imagine I will. There's so much time to set up through this. Yeah, if I have to, it's fine. Did I say set up? I mean like waste time after the run by shopping stuff, that kind of thing. I think I just did the reignited thing there, where I wasn't even trying to do the strat properly. I just wanted to get in straight away. So I didn't actually activate any of these mods. I'm going to do it a little bit slowly now. Yeah, you definitely want to be able to get them earlier because the gems are very prone to falling through the ice, so you'd have to collect them down there anyway. Yeah, Icy Peak has some of my favourite little bits of movement in the run. Some have already screwed up, but others are going well so far. This might be one of my, either my favourite or my second favourite level in the run, if it wasn't for the auto-scroller, but it's still pretty good other than that. Yeah, I think at this rate there's like no chance I'll finish early. Even though this is a pretty generous estimate for me. So even most of my practice runs that finish like, you know, plus 7 minutes or whatnot, those are still that's still a 304 for me. But this is definitely as you can see, going quite a bit worse than practice runs. Mostly because I was practicing for a different marathon earlier in the week, and after that happened, I didn't do too much after that. My plan was to get all of that in today, play for a couple hours, which I was about to start doing, I think, like 5 or 10 minutes before this happened. So yeah, there you go, this is the product. Very rusty, not really rusty run. Alright, so this is the most likely crash spot in the game. It turns really slowly. Wait for all its feathers to go off screen first. I'm pretty sure it's like impossible to crash here if you take your time. And that's very fortunate, because I wouldn't want to leave anything but a chance.
Step right up.
So I gotta say, seeing Nancy get hit in this game is far, far better than Reignited. In Reignited, she only gets smacked like a tiny bit, and then the challenge just instantly fails. In this one, it's a very satisfying smack noise. And you get to watch it go flying. So unfortunately, Nancy getting hit in HD is not the superior version. Yeah, I didn't even try to beat this challenge the first time I was doing my playthrough. I just started it and watched it, and it's kind of let down. It's a bit sad. Pluto glitch can happen on anything, even Emu.
We did it.
Oh, by the way,
It's a cool little bit of movement. This is right up the cliff with Supercharge, and hopefully get to do one of the more interesting interactions in the run. This is RNG to set up though, so it doesn't work, I'm sorry. Which it looks like he's in the right spot. And he was, but I fell down like a moron. Well, so I was supposed to get double thieves there, which would mean I get to kill both those thieves at the same time and get a graphical glitch, but unfortunately I fell down. You still get to get this cool backup though. And that guy, if you mess with your camera after killing the red thief first, he'll teleport back. And he'll keep teleporting back as long as you don't kill him. Which makes a very good sound effect actually, if you have the time to sit there and listen to him laugh over and over again. It's kind of loud too. Right, so the game can crash here as well, so I'll take it slow, even though it's really unlikely. It's mainly just the first two set of birds that are the problems. Missing a 2 gem? Yeah. It's a good feeling where it could be though. I guess there's a right in this cave here. Or it could be this guy. Apparently I forgot to kill him. Nice. Or actually no, he would have respawned because I died. That means I missed his... I killed him but missed the gem. Not quite sure what that happened actually, because you have really good sparks range at this point in the run.
let's hit him.
There you go, that's Patent of Flame. I'm pretty sure that's a frame perfect thing. You have to press circle the frame after you do the menu input. So there you go. Wait, turn TV back up, because I'm going to want to be able to hear the rocks here. Nice, those are very good rocks. It's a bit slow to hit that one, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's something that sometimes people, I guess, don't really know about. If you don't want Spike to shoot at you, just run at him like this, make him stomp the ground. He will never shoot you if you're in melee range like that. At least 99% of the time. Sometimes there's some rare cases where he will. But yeah. Just run up and force a melee attack and you can avoid getting shot at. And there you go. turn my TV back down. Don't forget to do it like 5 minutes
Hi,
left.
Spyro.
There's a cool little bit of movement there. Not basic enemies usually die in one hit. And so you can do like flame charge type movement there to not slow down. While also not having to... Well, I guess in that case I wasn't using the power up ammo for was. Yeah, same kind of deal. You don't have to waste as much ammo doing overkill stuff. So yeah, my power up ran out pretty early though, because I had to turn back for a few gems that I didn't grab. Normally you can take it and kill that bug, get the what's it called, the dynamite thing at the same time. That's where we're normally in, but it ended pretty early, so we couldn't get either. My health is really low here, so I'm just gonna kill both of these because I want to conserve some health. Normally I need to kill this bottom guy here. Yeah, there's a second wall climb. So there's a very bit of interesting movement there. I was actually wondering how I wanted to do that movement for a long time. Then I rewatched Vandy's PV and I noticed that he just kind of wiggles the D-pad back and forth so that the power-up spread just spreads out across all the enemies there. It's kind of funny. It's also good as well. I like it. Let's try this again. I am a little bit low on power, but I think I should have enough to kill the boss still. I definitely know when I have a gem count type thing for my shots, and it was like 30 under where it was supposed to be. But I may have just enough. I don't think I'll try for the gem thing. Just gonna make sure I get some one cycle. Yeah. Normally you can kill him as you're moving, and when he dies you want to be able to stop right on that gem there. That says like 2.5 seconds, but since my ammo was so low I didn't want to risk it, because your shots can miss, and it's better to just get one cycle over the gem.
Excellent work.
There we go, that's the halfway point of the game. Except not really, because evening is the longest homework, so it's more like the 45% way through. 48%, something like that. Yeah, there'll be SRT runs of all 3 games, I think.
Listen to me.
Did you nearly PB in 3-Zits? Or I guess potentially did, but is currently unknown. I was just wondering if you nearly PB'd, or I guess potentially did PB but haven't figured it out yet because of retiming. Just wondering why retiming would be a thing. Oh, ETD, right. I can't even remember what a good ETD time is. It's like 2 minutes, 8 seconds or something, right? That's on the record. Yeah, it was a little sketchy at the end, but got through the race fine. And yeah, like I said earlier in Mushroom, should be noticing the pattern of supercharging just doesn't really... It doesn't save as much, and it's not as hard. Like, all the spots you can supercharge in are pretty easy. However, this is the most interesting time trial in the run. Missed a couple things already, but it's inevitable without a bit of warm-up. You have to constantly weave between the two, the boats and the honeycombs. The honeycombs can be activated. You skim the very bottom of them. Normally you're supposed to just fly through them, but yeah, it's a small oversight, which allows you to go honeycomb boat, and it's a little tight. Probably a bit harder than it looks. But it definitely makes it the most interesting time trial. So I'm just gonna chase them up now. I think there's 2 boats and 1 honeycomb, maybe? Yeah, that seems right. Alright, a little small thing, I guess. Once you have all the gems, well, actually, you can give up at the end of a time trial when you've killed, well, not really killed, just done all 32 objectives, and you will get the egg for it. I was gonna say once you get the gem, which, I mean, you want in 117, but you can give up the moment you have all 32 objectives, and sometimes that means you can give up, still get the egg, but not have all the gems because you will have given up before the gem comes in. But the honeycomb there is one of those cases where you get the gem pretty much the moment you have collected the objective. I think it's the exact same frame, really. And so it's very convenient. It just allows you to give up instantly as soon as you get it. Whereas normally if you do it on one that has the home gem and you have to give up like a second later. Oh, I've got no idea. I just started without even having a timer up. But from the way this run has been going, like that I can tell, it's probably pretty bad. I'd say over 5 minutes behind. Probably more, realistically. So yeah, no, definitely not on good pace.
Spyro.
This level is really cool and reignited, actually, just on a visual, a visual standpoint. I don't know if anyone else noticed, but near the start of the level, you can physically see the mushroom challenge, or sea challenge, I guess, and you can see that in the main world. I thought that was a really cool detail. I don't know if anyone else noticed that though. Well, I'm just tired. As you can probably guess. I don't know. I was only up for like half an hour or an hour before I was asked to come in. So I'm a bit rusty and distracted as well, so no, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. This means I'm probably autopiloting a little bit more than I should be.
According to Let, I just bought some Sprout Ultra Super Grow seeds from a bear with a bag of gems. He said they were magical, but I can't make them do anything. You can have a couple if you like.
See, here is a seed challenge, which features spin jumping, and more importantly, the auto aim not working, which is a great feature. But yeah, more importantly, you will get to do boosted jumps, which actually I think there's only one of. When I think about it, in 1.17, which was the one I just did off the very first one. If you charge down into a mushroom, and then hold the X as you come back up, you'll actually get like a slightly high jump, which is enough height to break the sections where it's useful. It's used a lot more in 100 egg, but in 17 it's only used in the first one then. You could probably use it there, but you can actually just get through there with a normal jump, so don't need to bother. The spin jumping onto them can be a little tricky sometimes. Sometimes it looks like ones you get a perfect spin jump on, they just won't let you up. And then, I guess in the same vein, other times, when it looks like you do a weak spin jump, it'll work. So I don't know, it's a little confusing sometimes. Oh, this is a good glitch, I like this glitch. I used to just die to avoid that, but I've been told you can just do that, okay. I haven't actually gotten that since I was told that this is the fastest backup, because normally I would just die and break the thing again. And one time it happened to be 3 times in a row, and I was a little upset, to say the least. It's good to know that you don't actually have to do that. But yeah, that in 1.0, that thing can respawn as you break it, and when it respawns, you can't break it again. Which is a little dumb, but I haven't had it in a while, so I haven't really had to care. Yeah, there's another little proxy there to jump up, skip the annoying whirlwind. Although you're gonna have to take it anyway, but it skips 2 whirlwind visits at least. It saves like 4 or 5 seconds, I think.
Good days.
Got a little thing there. If you center the camera in a specific way, as you like touch the ground, or even while you're on the ground. Sometimes you can get an auto run thing. You can do that with all side characters. It's just not really useful on anyone outside of Sheila. It would be useful on Bentley, but the one spot you can make use of it from, I've never done it before. Seems like a task thing. Basically, if you do the camera locked movement there for the crate pushing in Bentley, it allows you to push them at full speed instead of being heavily slowed down.
You did it.
It was cool. Jump through that spot from the drawbridge. That wasn't known for a while, and the route consisted of people doing an out of bounds to get back over here, which is kind of funny. It's just one of those easily overlooked things, I guess. Luckily for us, it turned out to be faster as well as this annoying. Although the out of bounds wasn't that bad. It's just, you know, being able to jump and glide around. It definitely makes it easier by default. $6,700, that's all the gems I need. So a tiny little thing there. If you center your camera as you come out of some levels, you save a little bit of time, actually, for whatever reason. You just get to control your movement quicker. It's a very slight advantage, though. And here's Lost Fleet, the longest soul on the run, clocking in at around, well, ideally around like 10:30, 10 minutes, 30 seconds.
Be careful.
But generally a bit longer, around 11 to 12 minutes. I turned my TV back up for this one. This will be the last level I need for a sound cue. So hopefully it's not too annoying. That's kind of strange. The bird cycle was actually much further ahead than where I was expecting it to be. I don't feel like I made any mistakes, which is usually the only reason why it would be like that. Although I did take a while to get centered on the cannon, which wasn't really my fault. So maybe that was it, I'm not sure. Okay, this is a fun flop. Back in the route for some reason. And that some reason is that it saves time, but I'm sure nobody else is pleased to hear about its return. Apart from Toto. I think Toto was happy. But yeah, this is definitely a decently faster route. It's worth doing. And this is a bit of a tight cycle, but my movement's been good so far. Yeah, I should be way ahead of the cycle here. It's pretty normal, actually. I'm surprised. It's still good enough to make it, but I thought I was further ahead. So the invincibility lasts just long enough to be able to get here, while collecting all that stuff. I guess that's the another reason to scare people off doing this route.
Alrighty then. Press the X button to speed on.
Because the other route definitely doesn't have really challenging things like that in it.
Get a good lock on. Fire away with the circle button.
And here is subs. Ideally, when done fast, you will not have to rely on the auto lock on here too much, but yeah, sometimes things happen. You can kill them with stray missiles. I think I've done one already. We call them snipes. Hopefully I get one here. Nope. Yeah, that is much faster than waiting for the lock on to finish. So ideally do that as much as possible, but they are a little hard sometimes. So that guy really didn't like me. Keep doing random point blank turnarounds.
Well, I hate to... Darn tootin'! Get on, little dragon!
And I do a little pause over there to start the submarine off at max speed. You don't have to do that to get it to happen, but I find it makes it consistent. And you know, you're just losing a couple frames to make it sure that it absolutely happens. I'd say there's more shortcuts at the snipes there. Not as many as I wanted to get, but definitely more than the first one. Also, I think my torpedo that's chasing the sick guy there actually hit a wall, so it didn't kill him. That's a little unfortunate. Yeah, the TAS in general makes any RTA challenge just look incredibly slow. TAS this game, even though it's 4 years old at this point, is still really good to this day. And really kind of surprising that our best TAS of this game is of the longest category. I find that kind of funny. I think Spyro in general kind of has a lack of you know, polished TASs throughout the categories. You basically only have 117 and 280. Okay, I was thinking my gem count was wrong, but apparently I just didn't go as far as I should. So there you go. Finished that cycle with probably less than a second to spare. It was definitely not close at all. And yeah, the last bit of cannon stuff will be coming up soon, so I can turn my TV back down. Yeah, there's a lot of overhauled movement for RTA. I guess me specifically, I found probably around 4 minutes worth of stuff for RTA earlier this year, probably like 6 months ago now. But that's just RTA movement, so it wouldn't really be relevant to a TAS, so the TAS is still, you know, pretty good. The only unfortunate thing about the TAS is that it was made before the dead body proxies were really all that common. Or well known about, I guess, so it doesn't really start utilizing them until Seashell. But apart from that, it's still pretty solid, really. There's only like a few minor things. For RTA though, like the RTA strats in particular, were the ones that got updated. Yeah, that crab there is pretty annoying. He'll always attack you as you're trying to jump over. And yeah, if you don't deal with him, then you get hit into the lava. It's kind of funny, he's the last crab in the level. At least if you discount these ones that don't give gems. So the very first crab in the level. Oh no, actually no. It's the second crab in the level and the very last crab in the level. The two most annoying ones. Although crabs are kind of annoying in general because they have very unreliable attack patterns. Like sometimes they'll just ignore you, and you can't really tell if they're going to attack you or not. Which is, you'd think would be a good thing, but it's bad because you want to have them run into you so you can get their gem. And this makes it unpredictable. I got no idea, Warjo. Imagine, like, if you're completely redoing a task, you're gonna be going through every single level slowly again, which means you're gonna find stuff in every level again, even if this is minor. There's really just no way to tell. And yeah, I wouldn't find it funny to say that like missed OG skateboarding. It's not really my favorite part of the run, exactly. Gotta be honest, but definitely is SRTV, that's for sure. Okay, I didn't see the gem thing pop up, so I think I missed something in the main level. Seems like it's just right here, though. Or not? Maybe this room? Oh, right, this guy. Yeah. Oh, I missed another one. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going back in. Reignited is a very nice, drop my controller. A very nice visually looking game. It has some decent audio, but not too big of a fan on the gameplay. It's not bad. It's definitely much better than NST, but I don't really see myself playing it long term over the originals here. There are definitely some improved things though. Just not all of them. Yeah, the gameplay is not bad. Like that's for sure. As far as a speedrun goes, I just might as well be playing the original. until something changes at least, where you get some more unique stuff in it. I don't think I've played in the original Old World before. I can barely even like put a name to the gameplay. But I've definitely heard of it before though. What's Odd World? Let me look it up. Oh, this guy. Yeah. Didn't know that was getting a remake.
I will.
If you use your...
So yeah, seals are kind of cool. They don't carry out this cycle if you're not looking at them, which once you'll be able to manipulate it into a good one if you face the camera away. Like there. He was going to throw it earlier, like much earlier than I was going to be able to get there, but by the magic of pressing R2 and not looking at him, I managed to delay how long he's going to throw it for. It's a cool little spin jump. It's a bit more awkward than it seems, but it's not too bad. I'd say like a second or so. I didn't really do it for the longest time, so I thought it was annoying, but yeah, it's really not too bad.
Thanks, bro.
That cutscene there is a little interesting. You lose control, but when the door closes, you have like a frame or two to be able to do stuff. I don't know why. But in that time, you can just like smash the hammer down. That's your optimized downtime. I do like this charge though, this chest though, specifically with Bentley. Just because you don't have to wait for any of them to fall down. You just manually path through all of them as they're in the air. And then you get a very satisfying, like, instant leave. Probably get more enjoyment out of there than normal. Sounds a cool level. Probably my, at least visually, probably my favorite level in reignited. I think that was really well done, reignited. Especially the fireworks here. The fireworks animation looked really good. May have been my favorite music upgrade as well. I was kind of 50-50 on the music upgrades for SRT, but fireworks is definitely a big upgrade for me. This is gonna be a seemingly straightforward level at first, just more platforming, but it does have a couple interesting challenges coming up. Though I would say one of the more annoying things about Sim was the fact that you have to do kind of odd movement around the ninjas. Because if you try to flame them, they'll instantly do a backdash. Backdash or backflip. Sorry, I'm playing too much Tekken. Yeah, they'll do a backflip, and in that same time they can hit you. So it's a really broken move, and it just forces you to manually charge through all of them, really. There'll be a couple in the side area here that I will actually be able to flame. That's with setup movement. It's definitely not a normal feature. Unless it's a shooting guy like that. A shooting guy like that, he won't move at all. So this is kind of cool. Normally those guys, they'll stand there and throw bombs at you, but by turning around right at the start of the challenge, I force them to start running away. And the only way they'll see me after that is by me walking in front of them. That enemy there, I tried to kill him in a way that he would land on top of the base. And if he did that, he would have broken it, and I would have gotten a flame charge off it. I was charging past, but a little bit off center, unfortunately. So it's actually been a good cycle. I want to try to kill him as he turns to the left here, and that way he'll just run into all of those guys and blow them up. But sometimes you can be so fast that he'll be like he'll just be like a couple seconds away from being able to turn at that point, and in that case it's just not even worth doing. But, when I do sort of bad movement like I did there, it's a nice little backup. So here'll be the cool thing of this level. Another bleeding area portal skip to go to Agent 9, and with the power of magic, get a frame perfect pause for free. Don't talk to Agent 9, just finish up here and then die. And very shortly, should be able to play the minigame as Spyro instead.
Hi, Agent 9.
So normally, obviously, you're supposed to play as Agent 9, and while he has a cool movement tech of his own, which is technically faster, but very unreliable for a human if you need to collect gems, you get this method, which in itself, the way I did it, you don't have to do it, but it makes it 100% consistent at the cost of losing, you know, like 3 seconds really, depending on how fast you can set it up. Also, I have no idea where I'm going. Yeah, the way I did it is just unplugging the controller with X and square held as I was fading into the challenge there. By doing that, having the controller unplugged normally pauses the game for you, and in that case there, it pauses as soon as possible, which is conveniently before Agent 9 is able to talk to you. And like I said, you don't have to do that. You can get a frame perfect pause on your own by mashing, but unplugging the controller, that makes it guaranteed. It is a tiny bit slower, but this challenge is quite a bit harder, and I would say on average like 20 to 30 seconds slower with Agent 9. So definitely want to be guaranteeing that you get that. It does give you this kind of horrendous camera though, but that's nothing you can't practice and work around. I'm not exactly giving it its best showing there.
Thanks for West.
And here's the second interesting challenge, which would actually be pretty fun, and I would look forward to it. And I still do, but it definitely does not become fun when you get bad patterns constantly. You're at the mercy of the dragons going into tunnels, because they move around so much faster than you. If they go into a tunnel, you can't really chase them that well. You'll just fall behind. What you want is for them to keep turning around in the open, and that way the lack of movement speed is made up for by the fact you need to constantly hit them and cut them off. And yeah, when you get a bad pattern, not really possible, which is unfortunate. Luckily, there is a lot of gems you need to collect in this area, so if you get a bad pattern, you can just spend your time collecting gems instead and wait for them to come out again and be vulnerable, which is nice. But it is possible, and definitely not unlikely to get unlucky to the point where you don't have really any more gems to go for, and you just straight up lose time when they go into an unfavorable place. This bottom, when they go into this bottom tunnel here, it's not too bad early on because there's so much of them to hit, and it's really easy. But when they get shorter, it's definitely not worth chasing them in there. So this purple guy seems to be giving me a good pattern. He's just going around in circles, which is very grateful for. That wasn't too bad. Definitely not the best though. I would take that in an extra run. Yeah, you do have Superfly for this bit, but it is faster to just charge around, I think. And it should be the end of the level right here. Yep. I was kind of worried that I was missing a gem in Agent 9 because my movement was not that great. And Sparks was sitting off screen when I wanted to do the one spot where you can check with him, the Sparks Finder. But, so yeah, I couldn't see him when he was doing that, so I was a little worried, but turns out it was all fine. Yeah, here's another level with interesting challenges, but maybe interesting in the not so good way. At least one of them is definitely not that great. Cat hockey though, I would say it's a mixed bag. It can be fun when it goes well. It's just yeah, when it doesn't go well, it's a little frustrating. It's also one of the spots, I would say, that is like a challenge being much better done in SRT. Well, SRT did a much better job with cat hockey. is a unique thing to the level, I guess. There's no way to kill those snowmen apart from just burning them down with the laser. Hopefully get this thing here. Cool. So a little wall glider saves a couple seconds. Something I think I fail at more often than I get it. But if I fail it once, I don't try for it again. I find it a little bit too risky. So I feel like it might just snowball and I won't be able to get it. Because it is a little tricky. And yeah, here's the everyone's favorite part of the run. The press square simulator. And that was very good actually. But as so commonly seems to be the case for boxing, if you get a good boxing 1, you will probably have a bad boxing 2. And boxing 2 is definitely the one you want to be having go well, if you had to pick one. So we'll see if that trend continues. And yeah, like Zeus said, you don't want to be just mashing square as soon as you can. There is a small bit of timing to this. The main reason why this challenge is annoying is because you can guard break, you can hit him through his guard, but it's not consistent. Sometimes it just won't happen, and that's not really up to you, which makes people feel like this is an RNG challenge, and I would agree with that. Yeah, so the ideal thing here is to be able to kill this guy before the timer runs out, and that's a 1 round. Yeah, you're at the mercy of the game to let you guard break, and yeah, no 1 round there. I'm actually taking more damage than I'm doing to him, which is pretty unlucky. So if that kept up, I would probably risk dying here, which is extremely bad. I might have to start going into long swings there if I'm gonna die. Might not have to. Yeah, okay, so those are really close. That was very, very, very bad. I think in an actual run I would have lost about a minute. So, yeah. It doesn't always go that bad, but that is pretty much the worst case scenario. So I'm very glad that it happened in a marathon, not an actual PB. Yeah, SRT boxing is a little strange. You can't really just mash jab anymore. Like you can, it'll still work to some degree, but I think the best thing to do is just alternate square and X in SRT. When I did that, I managed to get a 22-second left 1 cycle for boxing 2, which is far better than anything I've ever had for
freeze the cats and push them into my goal to score.
Originals. Although honestly, I got the feeling that they didn't change the health values at all. Like I feel like boxing 1 and boxing 2 had the same amount of health. Which would be funny if that is true. But I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention. Yeah, you can do 2-player boxing, but it's only after you beat the challenge. Otherwise the best strat for the speedrun would just be to plug a second controller in and then the editors wouldn't fight back. Which would be quite amazing, honestly. If only it worked that way.
Well done. Thanks for helping out.
I've got no idea, Silver. I didn't try it personally. You have to ask someone else. I probably should have though. That would have been fun. See how quickly you can just beat him on SRT. Get like a 40-second boxing to or something like that.
That's it. I've had enough.
Yeah, it seems like my theory is for the cutscene crashing is in effect. I haven't crashed on a cutscene since I turned the fan on. My room cooled down.
This might...
Surprised I didn't turn my fan on earlier. Actually, I was sweating a little bit, even though it was midnight. And yeah, here's Scorch, a fun boss. Everyone loves him. Everything about him is RNG, pretty much. And fortunately, I managed to get Red's first try, but the enemy luck right now is not in my favor. You can either do 2 attacks, which is this, and spawning any amount of enemies. And spawning enemies in itself is random because it can be... Well, it depends on his health value, but there are some health values where you can spawn more than one type of thing. And in itself, you can spawn 2 to 4 weasels or crabs, and which makes that slower. So, yeah, just everything about that guy's RNG. Not a very enjoyable speedrun boss. Just gonna sit here. I only want to come in here for the next level. What was I saying? Yeah, I only want to come in here with full health because this level is dangerous.
Princess Amy.
Yeah, this sounds kind of cool. The gimmick is supposed to be that you have to kill every enemy in an area before being able to move on. But we don't have time for that, so we're just gonna go up here and do our own little thing. And now we're at the final boss. He's not too tough. It's a bit of a pushover. I actually did take quite a bit of damage there, I didn't mean to. But luckily there was a fodder on your way. And I shouldn't be getting hit too many times. But yeah, with that, the entire gimmick of the level is removed. By beating the boss, you don't have to wait for the doors anymore, and you don't have to kill every enemy, so that speeds it up quite tremendously by being able to skip so many enemies, because the enemies won't give you gems. The only downside is that you can get permanently locked into a room if you are... Oh god. Oh god. These guys... I killed a big starfish that I wasn't supposed to. And the big starfish, the offspring, are much faster than the regular ones. So I just saw him like speeding up behind me in a panic. Yeah, this is definitely slow movement, but it's fine. Yeah. So it's like the reverse trigger. So when you kill the enemies, the door is supposed to open. Since they're already open, I think the theory is that it'll close it instead, and that'll be closed permanently. But as long as you don't kill too many enemies, you'll be fine. I personally haven't ever pulled that off in a run before. I've only done it once on Emu. In fact, I put this into the run before I even knew that was possible, so... Oh god, it's gonna chase me. I kept hitting big starfish here, I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't trying to though. Whatever. Sometimes bad things just happen. Yeah, as you can see, the offspring from the big starfish is much faster. They're much more lethal. Go to this guy. He's very speedy. I'm actually gonna kill them because I know they're gonna chase me for ages otherwise. Oh. There you go. Somehow I managed to snipe all of them, even though I was trying to kill the ones that are chasing me. And that's getting locked in. That's going really well.
When I saw that.
Somehow I said no to that, I'm not really sure how. And this is the world's first starfish revisit. I'm just gonna do it from the front now. I think it's faster to do that. Yeah, commentary curse or something like that, I don't know. I should have expected that to happen, honestly. My movement has not been up to par, so I feel like something like that was just bound to happen really. But it's fine. Not really looking for the best run ever. Just looking to do a run. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing to have it shown off, so we can see what it looks like. Because it is quite interesting what can happen. I believe you need to kill those guys for the door to open. Oh, there's some starfish apparently. Yeah, luckily it only, it's really not the end of the world. There you go, all the gems now. Yeah, that is my first time doing it in a run. Oh, right, yeah. I was trying to re-enter straight away, but Zoe was talking to me the first time to give me the power-up. So I was expecting to get the power-up there, but she'd already given it to me, so... There you go. Only one more homeworld to go.
Spyro,
My analog is on, okay. Yeah, it's a little weird thing. If you have your analog on, sometimes your analog will be tilted slightly, which will force an input. And in that case there, I couldn't turn around, so that bonk wasn't on me for once. I'm kind of surprised it took so long for me to realize the analog was on, actually. Because when you replug in the controller for the Agent 9 thing, it'll turn itself back on. It didn't prove to be a problem until just then, apparently. I was supposed to actually go back and check that, Mojo, because I realized that in the when I was doing my playthrough. Allegedly, though, it doesn't give you anything. But that's just what I've heard some people say. Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't need sound, but I prefer to have sound for this fight. So this is the actual last spot where I need sound. Or want sound, rather. See, this fight's kind of cool. It used to be a massive pain back in the day, but it's pretty consistent now, fortunately. You can tell exactly which cannon is going to drop, which is nice, so you can always wait by the correct one. And with the power of jumping off vehicles, you can now force a consistent UFO skip. So I have 2 hits here. Oh, I got a very light cannon. That's nice. So I was gonna say I need 4 hits for the tank, but now I only need to do ideally 3. Yeah, 3 with her. And all I need to do is shoot and jump off, and she will run back early for no reason and make me miss. So that's good. The goal here is to... It probably won't work now, I'm just saying, but yeah, ideally you shoot and then jump off. And that will force Agent Knight to shoot down another tank. But yeah. Since she started running again for unknown reasons, instead I got messed up there. It's unfortunate. But oh well. And this is the vehicle you're not supposed to see. UFO. While also being slower in the fact that you have to wait for him to wait for the UFOs to spawn in. The UFOs themselves they don't shoot slower, but since you're in a 3D space and they're constantly moving, there's no way to stop moving. You have to loop around a bit to be able to get shots in again, so it's quite slow. And also harder to control because it is a 3D space. Yeah, it's consistent in the fact that we know exactly why it works. The small bit of variances are sometimes the movement patterns are a bit bad. Anyway, that's the second to last wall climb we'll do in a Sparks level. That one's not too impactful. The next one will be much bigger than that. That one only skips the need to open the door there, which the bugger's pretty close by anyway. It's a little bit of movement there. You want to start shooting and moving to the left before he even, like while he's still moving right, because he is much faster than you. And you know, it is the Space Invaders philosophy. You want to shoot where they're going to be, not where they are. And yeah, comfy power up. Removes most of the challenge of this big room. You just make it last quite a long time. And this last key will be right here. You just shoot him as he comes out. Now we kill this big guy and he should give us the big power up. It's a bit too early for the gem. The gems, you can't actually collect them straight away. They have to fall out of the air first before you can grab them, which is a little annoying, but nothing you can't manage around. And we have this boss, which for some reason I feel like sometimes dies a lot quicker. I'm not really sure what causes that. I don't see why it would be an easy mode thing, but yeah, that was the faster one, the one where I feel like he had less health than me. But maybe that's just a placebo thing. I don't know. It's not something I've actually researched. Those guys, I think both those green guys survived with like 1 health, so that's unfortunate. 2 for that one. There you go, that's the last Sparks level you'll do. And he gives you the second best power up, in my opinion. At least the one that affects the gameplay. I prefer, like, I think the most interesting one is just the very first one, because it gives you more range on your Sparks. This one's still pretty good though. It allows Sparks to break vases and baskets without you needing to flame them or charge them. But I think overall, I definitely would say the extended range from Sunrise is the more useful thing. So this is cool. in the game's mind, even though the egg still has to hatch physically as an animation, the moment you've talked to them, you have it. It's in your inventory. So by doing that, I can just die and collect that at the same time, and I will have it. So even though I didn't get to see it hatch, it'll still be collected, and I can death warp back onto the main island and skip the world. This is the Crimson Chin. As far as I know, this is patched and reignited. At least in the fact that you can't even stand on the chin anymore. Maybe there'll be a different skip though, in a similar way. Also, this is not supposed to be this hard, I promise. It is a little bit misleading. You have to do quite a long glide before you're able to hover up here, but it's definitely not something that ever gives me trouble. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. Pretty surprised even, because that is usually like 99% first try. I guess I was doing something wrong, but wasn't aware. I don't know.
Well.
Oh, you can just jump up there? Nice. That makes sense with the how the hover works. Yeah, when I was doing my casual playthrough of SRT, I didn't really explore how well you could use the movement. I just kind of played. I knew the hover was kind of broken, but at the same time I didn't really want to mess around with it, because I was enjoying having to do some of the like intended stuff for Spyro 2 and all that. But yeah, that makes sense. If I saw it now, I would probably be able to figure that out. It was kind of funny. So they removed standing on the chin, but now you can just straight up glide up there. That's pretty epic. I'm glad that's the thing. Oh yeah, this challenge is hard, though. The controls are not that great, and through the nature of how the shooting works, your shots alternate from left to right cannon, and it makes it kind of hard to shoot where exactly you want to. Also, that was bad gem RNG. I think 2 fell down. Oh, A2, not 2 gems. But yeah, that makes it a pretty hard challenge in my opinion. Probably the hardest in the run to get perfectly. So this guy does not want to die, I think. Although, speaking of, what's it called? Speaking of the alternating shots, that's something they added to SRT for the UFOs. The UFOs now have 2 things you can shoot out of. And it's exactly the same as that Manta thing. That's easily the thing I like the least about that challenge. So it's really great that they added that for the Sorcerer's Sight. Oh, okay. I did a proxy there, but I only did that because I was pretty sure I didn't have a gem omen, so that didn't end up being necessary. But there you go. Get to show you a Scorpion proxy at least, where otherwise you would not see one in 117. Yeah, initially I did try to I tried to do the Glimmer backtrack skip, but yeah, at that time I didn't really understand how the hover could be fully utilized, and I don't think I really tried anything with it from that point. I think I just come off from Spyro 1 as well, because I did all 3 in one sitting. I guess I just wasn't really used to hovering in general. In fact, I think like for a good like 1/3 or halfway through Spyro 2, I wasn't really hovering as much as I should have been. That section there is probably one of the least favorite bit of gem movements I have to do in the run, because it's really awkward to get down there properly. You have to take a really wide turn, and doing that wide turn lets you get the sparks and like flame charge thing on both of those. But yeah, they're just in a really awkward spot. I don't think there's any really better way to get those. It's a little annoying to have to do. Wow, he's gotten by this guy. Cool. I was missing a few gems at the some of the earlier levels, but it seems to have died down for now, which is good. Yeah, I only have blue health for this one. Since I do have the starfish power up, I can have full health going in here. So having only two is a little bad. I'm hoping that I don't get hit at all in this level, because I want to have as much health as I can for back to front. Yeah, even though I've already done a Agent 9 challenge in Fireworks, I didn't actually get to play as Agent 9, so this is the first time you get to see him. And I don't do any of his movement tech for the first bit there, but from now on, I'll be able to see the zigzag. And if you haven't seen the task before, you can probably guess why it's not properly utilized ever by humans. And never will be. Although come to think of it, these next few rooms are a bit claustrophobic, so I don't really get to see too much zigzag in here either. It's more when you get out the second open area. So yeah, these guys are a little weird. They're supposed to be RNG, but if you put all the other spawns off camera, except one, it'll always spawn in that one spot you have on camera. So that lets me do it in a straight line there. And that last guy in particular is even stranger, because if I'm directly looking at him, he'll take longer to spawn. So I have to turn the camera away to not directly look at him, and then he'll just spawn quicker. I don't really understand that, but yeah.
Just as
Yeah, didn't have great luck on there. So I'm used to SRT for this as well. I think the controls to move the crosshair around inverted. I think that's a problem with a lot of things in SRT. A lot of the controls are inverted, I think. Either that or just different. Like the opposite of what you do in OG. Which won't be a problem for many people, but when you're used to one way from speedrunning, it just makes the whole game confusing. At least that was my experience, I don't know. Maybe it was just seeing things.
the labs.
See, unfortunately, it's kind of hard to zigzag in this level in particular. It's actually much easier to do in Agent 9's Fireworks Factory 1. Because, for whatever reason, being in first person changes the controls you need to be able to pull it off, and that makes it easier. Speaking of Agent 9, actually, SRT, I think Agent 9 is another thing where I'd say this level is like unconditionally better in the remake. He controls really well. He's more fast-paced, even though you don't have zigzag. He's more like fast-paced on a natural, intended level. It's just really fun. The level looks nice. Those boats don't have tragic hitboxes. You can actually hit them pretty easily now. So yeah, I actually like this level quite a lot in the remake. Much better than the original, at least. The one bad thing is that you can't free throw the bombs anymore like this. You're forced into aiming them, which is a little bit slower. But I would definitely take that for all the other improvements they've given. So I will attempt back to front with blue sparks, but any less than that, and I would go find the health. So very fortunate I didn't get hit at the end there.
Thank you.
And here we go, big trick of the level. Didn't even take damage. Nice, that was actually very good. I'd be very happy with that in a run. That's a really good ending zigzag as well. Although it does seem like I've missed a gem. Oh. Okay, I just went too fast around the area, Sparks couldn't grab it. That is a thing actually, in the tasks of this level. I think Nitroff made Agent 9 touch basically every single gem, except like a couple, with like manually, because he was moving too fast for Sparks to be able to do anything. Which is kind of funny. You got to see a little bit there. Not actually supposed to find mystery. You can just charge through them all. I don't know why I flanked. I feel like I may have missed something in the water there, but it's pretty unlikely, so I'm not going to bother checking.
Would you like to see?
It's funny, this level looks pretty barren after seeing the remake version. For whatever reason in the remake they decided to put a bunch of seeds all over the ground. And I think just a bunch is a bit of an understatement. It's quite a few. It's really quite a few. I don't know why, but there you go, I guess. It's a very stark contrast of just blue ground everywhere here. You can break those without taking damage, but it is pretty specific. I was kind of hoping I was going to get it there, because I was on green. So normally I would get these, the egg before the underwater gems. Underwater gems? They are just normal gems. The normal gems there, but since I had to get the fodder, they were all spawned anyway, so I might as well just grab them while I was there. Luckily, health isn't going to be too much of an issue in this level and the one after, because it's just a lot of fodder lying around, and the enemies aren't really that lethal. Especially Haunted Tomb, there's a lot of fodder in Haunted Tomb. Probably too much, I would say, it actually makes it really easy. Especially when you compare it to something like a Misty Bog in Spyro 1, where it only has 2 throughout the entire level. and you get like Haunted Tomb, which probably has like 9 or something, I don't know.
I'm afraid a light tap on the head should sort them out. But watch out for my friends. They're trying
There we go, OG moles. Another thing I wouldn't expect myself to say that in this. I did not have a fun time with this in the remaster. Although apparently this challenge is bugged and hitting a dead mole still gives you a point. Which if I had known that, that would have made it a lot smoother. But I didn't, so I had a lot of fun. So normally the route would end there, but I got bad spawns on the when I had 2 left, so I decided to leave early. Oh, interesting. I never had the bear so close to the red guy before. Managed to kill both in one flame. That was not what not the route I was hoping to do there, but that actually didn't turn out too bad, so I'll take it. It's a cool thing. Do a charge jump. It's similar to how you death abuse from the Midnight Egg. Use that to talk to the end of level guy's extremely massive trigger and jump off and grab the gem at the same time. And this is the infamous slide, where you actually need pretty good handle on the controls there to not miss any gems. This is something the remaster also fixed. Quote, fixed. Sparks just, he doesn't have trouble picking up anything anymore. He just grab everything. So there's no more, worry about having to have good controls there. Oh, I missed something? I didn't even notice. It must be one that I wasn't expecting to miss, maybe like right near the start. Like not this first one, but maybe the one after. Because usually there's only 2 spots where I'm worried about missing something. Maybe like right here? Or this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, that's interesting. Don't normally miss one there. Fruit roll up. Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. It's not really something I've thought of before. Well, I haven't even had a fruit roll up in 10 years or something, I don't know. Something you used to have in like primary school lunch.
Behind this.
This is another bit, Agent 9. He's supposed to do his challenge and kill all these things, but I just rather not, personally, so I'm just gonna do this instead.
I see you. I've waited.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be another slide, but fortunately you can just jump over it and skip the actual sliding part. Most of the slide is not actually a slide really. It's just one trigger zone, or a couple trigger zones where it forces you to start sliding, and then the rest will follow naturally. But if you never trigger the first command to slide in the first place, and the rest of the slide will be like standable. It's the same for crystal slide as well, but it's much harder to get out of that one because of the roof extends so far out. But it is possible with the proxy of the turtle. Yeah, this is my personal favorite level. Because I like the challenges, I like the aesthetic, and I think the snowballs, while kind of being slow-paced, I think managing them is kind of fun. I don't know, I don't think it's a very popular opinion. But it is what it is.
You may not. My. Such a brave reptile you are. But you need much more than bravery to win.
So this is tanks. Nothing really to say apart from just don't get hit. There are some damage boosts you can do. Like if you take damage, you will instantly reset your momentum, and that allows you to back out of areas like those, like the branches here. But I got hit early and I don't really have health to do them anymore, so I can't really show them off. But yeah, the tanks themselves are straightforward. Some of them are hiding behind pots, and it's RNG which way they come out of. So you just have to shoot one way, and then as you approach them, aim for the other side. So that way you cover both your options. If they go the way you were already shooting, then you kill them for free, and if not, then you just kill them shortly after. So yeah, the strat there is to actually jump over that guy as he has the second shot, and you'll throw it at himself and blow himself up, but I bonked on the wall there so I didn't have enough time. This is my favorite part of the level though, this camera manipulation. You get to use that to kill both these guys at once. Looks really cool, in my opinion. And started jump, nice. Actually, I hadn't had one of those in a while. I was kind of surprised. That gun stopped charging. I hadn't seen that before. Dude, what's this guy doing? I got owned. That guy is normally consistent with how he moves. Apparently there's something new there. Did I? I did. Okay. There's a certain sound effect I listen out for there to make sure I hit both of them, but in that case it seemed like yeah, just in that case I managed to kill the coffin but not the mummy. That's pretty interesting. I don't think I've done that before as well. So two very new things happened in that level. Oh, I did get both? I could have sworn I only hit one of those baskets. So yeah, these guys are, at least the green ones, they're kind of annoying. If they have completed their animation and are about to shoot you, they kind of start shooting and lock onto you. Like, even if you get them off camera. And they'll keep shooting at you for a long time. So sometimes you can, you can't really avoid a hit without going slow if you look at them for too long, especially in that one open area. But generally the blue guys are the more annoying ones, apart from that one section, because they throw their attacks so much faster. And as is, seems to be custom for SRT, they made the easy things hard and the hard things easy. So that means the green dinos are actually much more lethal in SRT than the blue ones. The green dinos shoot extremely fast in SRT, and you also don't really have iframes for the Bailey Gang challenge, so I'd say it was pretty challenging in SRT, honestly. It's casual. Well, I guess casually, the original Diamond Mines one is pretty hard too. I'm just more used to that one.
One of them done.
I think so. Which is kind of strange actually, because they censored a lot of other stuff, like Twilight Harbor and Scorch and Spyro 2. And Twilight Harbor, they have like Splatoon bubblegum guns. In Scorch, they have slingshots now, instead of guns. Also, Bombo is renamed to Bob. Goddamn Bob. It's just Bob.
Well, good luck to you.
They could have named anything in the world, but they named him Bob. I don't know, man. Yeah, Bombo's redesign is definitely substantial, but I liked it more. I thought it was good. Which is what I would assume they would have changed more over the name. But I guess not. Oh my god, I think I'm too used to shooting at the heads, because you can actually hit the heads in SRT, but you can't really hit the heads in the original. So I think I'm too used to shooting at the heads. Gotta start aiming for the bodies more. So I did take a few hits there earlier because I was not used to the shooting quite yet, but luckily there was a free health refill by getting the skill point there. Normally you can ricochet a shot off the wall there and kill that guy early, but I'm not sure why I didn't work there. God, this is actually... cutting is really close. I don't have sparks anymore, this is great. I don't think I've ever been hitting that challenge for a very long time. I'm actually gonna go Deathiest because I want sparks for this. That will mean all the windows and chests respawn though, but yeah, it's not worth it to do it with hot sparks.
Well, jumping jump.
Looks like I missed one in the water section. I was kind of thinking I did. Maybe one of the bases. So my guess this is a 2 gem. Oh, okay. Well, it was a vase, but not the one I was thinking of. And yeah, that's the last normal level of the run. Only thing left is a speedway and the bonus round. Kind of curious actually how much supercharging this level even saves, because I know supercharging is very minimally faster than just gliding in this level. But I've never actually inquired as to how much it saves. I might need to do a test run of this level that only gets stars. No supercharging at all. So I remember when Nitrop was making the test, he said he was a little skeptical that it would even be worth charging in the task, but apparently it is very slightly faster. That was a little close. I'm not even sure I got that right, but I'll take it. I feel like that ring in particular is very lenient. I don't know. I've definitely had some close calls with that shouldn't have worked at all. Yeah, the rings in SRT are smaller, and they have accurate hitboxes now, so yeah, they're much tighter. But more importantly, you get to drift around everywhere, so they're even harder at the end. They're like threefold. Yeah, SRT speedways are actually kind of hard.
these.
Here we go. The most exciting final challenge in Autoscroller. And not just an Autoscroller, an Autoscroller that has a glitch that can make you lose a minute. That can happen more than once. It is fantastic. What is not to love about this challenge at the very end of the speedrun? The very end of your 3-hour speedrun. Can't think of much better ways to end it, you know, personally. Good pace. Yeah, what's my time rate actually? Because I know this run has been a pretty big train wreck, so I'm probably far over estimate. Like 5 minutes, I don't know. Because I didn't actually start a timer when I did this. Just kind of went into it. Oh, it's 3:11 already. Yeah, nice. Sounds about right. It's okay, in my defense though, I wasn't even supposed to be doing this run right now. I was only up for like 30 minutes or something and then got told, yeah, there's tech problems, can you just, like right now? That's my excuse.
This place is where the sorceress kept all her treasure. But after she was defeated, a bunch of thieves came and stole it. If you can catch the thieves, you're more than welcome to keep the treasure.
Shout out to that skip actually being possible in SRT, by the way. You just gotta do it from the back. You get a damage boost up the waterfall instead of just flopping over it. They don't hit. They must have like curved into the wall or something. That's a bit lame. Go for this guy right now then. Yeah, but too late. It's not the worst thing ever though. Cycling can get much more disjointed than that.
Hi, Spyro.
That was a very good subs. Take that. It's kind of weird that there was actually a, you know, a full 7 out of 7 route, but to just get 5, you know, I'm happy with that. Just shows how consistent it is to get them all. I think when I was first working out the new cycle there, it took me like over an hour to actually just get all 7 out of 7 for a recording. It's pretty tight to shoot them all.
Check it.
I jumped a bit too high over that one. I'll have to come back to that 10 gem after. See if I can still do this actually. There we go. New backup invented on the fly. Not sure that looked impressively hard. Did I get that one gem? I can't tell. I think I did. Can't actually tell though, because these spikes will be pointing to the crate here. Yeah, looks like I did in this one. Although that's not the spot I thought it was going to be in, so I guess it's a different one. I'm not actually sure what I missed around here. Didn't notice anything. Jay's pointing down there. I'm gonna check this spot right there, see if I did actually miss anything. I didn't, okay. Yep, all good then. So I managed to get the 2 gem early, but I didn't get this 1 gem, okay. It must have been because of the UFO movement I had to do. So it jumbled up. Hopefully this doesn't take too many tries, because I will get this.
I don't know how she... Your best chance to defeat her is to borrow my flying saucer. I've cast some spells on it to give it extra firepower and unlimited flying time, but the rest is going to be up to you. You've come this far, Spyro. I know you can.
Can't even land on it. Well, that's kind of it, in a way. Not really, but you know, it's a thought that counts. Alright, 10 and 3. Should probably be taking a bet on how many tries this is going to take. That's 4. Five. Hey, there we go. So whoever said 6 was wrong, because I didn't get a good enough height. And you know what? You saw it, so I'm just gonna fight it like normal. That's a pretty decent fight. I guess that's time. Well, it was decent for the actual UFO part. Not the proxy so much. There you go, there is 117.